that Gambit played so successfully in the last game. Swain is the other pick here for Rainbow7. So Seiya or Giral could take that into their solo lanes.
Does feel like that Swain, very popular over in Latin America, yet so far on day one, Rainbow7 yet to bring it out. Same for Gambit. But there's priority on the Swain. Remember the flexibility that you have. You can put him in both mid lane and top. Giral has shown his flexibility on the wider range of champions that he has been able to play. And I think that it's exciting to see where they look to put that focus, whereas Gambit lock in their comfort picks.
I mean, I was going to say, like, obviously Braum's been taken away, but I wonder how many of these picks Gambit just run back from the last game that they just came off playing so successfully. Obviously, a different opponent now, so you will have to adjust. But Anivia has been locked in already for Kira. Played this matchup only a few minutes ago. And with Morgana being unbanned, Edward, he thought about the Thresh. Definitely a signature pick for him, but he will go with the Morgana. So another very defensive bot lane.
It's also quite strong. You have a decent amount of poke from that 2 versus 2, depending on what Rainbow decide to lock in with their bottom lane. They could choose to save it for later on, perhaps get priority on the jungle now if they wanted to. Things like the Trundle and Olaf are both still available and both big comfort picks for Oddie. But instead, his eyes are looking to round out the bottom lane.
And you would maybe think of something, you know, like a Caitlyn, maybe even Xayah on her own as a pick here for White Lotus. But I think, again, given the stakes in this game for both these teams, White Lotus is sticking to a pick that he knows well.
So Rainbow7 going much more towards a scaling route. Gambit have demonstrated that they too like to scale with the double tier, but in that mid game, the 20-minute mark, that is when that team really turns on. And they took one Baron and they ended the game last time, Pastry. So Rainbow7 are going to have to respect that or find ways of getting early leads. So far, it looks like that their early focus on the next phase of bans will be towards a couple of early playmaking junglers. So the options could be, I feel, to go for an early Trundle here if they wanted to.
We'll have to see. There's Kha'Zix's ban. Maybe that Trundle, it's a ban out of respect for Oddie and the pick. Again, especially if they're looking to enable White Lotus here on Trist. Or no, we'll see yet another ban here from Gambit.
They're expecting the Swain to be in the middle lane. They know that Giral has played both the Ornn and the Scion. And I believe we did see some Gangplank from him earlier in the day as well.
It was good also.
Gangplank, he's good.
Showing up pretty well as Trundle actually banned by Rainbow7.
This implies to me that they might be looking for an early Olaf rotation. You kind of look at what is left available to kind of stop that champion, and you're kind of limited in terms of options. So if Gambit want to, they could take that away, but it feels like that, hey, we'll give you a slightly stronger jungler, and then we will secure ourselves a stronger top laner blind as a result. What? They decide to go for a Karma ban.
That's a solo lane Karma ban, remember, with unless Braum's going somewhere real crazy.
Yeah.
That's the expectation from Gambit.
Well,
so
they did talk about lane bully Braum, remember?
They did. Very, very strong. Again, I think maybe just knowing that Rainbow7 really want to put a lot of stock in White Lotus this game. Zac, though, is the pick here for Oddie. Going to take a tank jungler into this one, so maybe leaving the aggressive Olaf to Diamond, or maybe Gambit have something else in mind.
It does feel like Gambit now have quite a few options going up against the Zac, because remember, he does get himself very low in the early jungle, and you've just got a lot of scaling and team fighting right now for Rainbow7. Gambit, I like the pickup of the Olaf. It gives you a little bit of early game playmaking. You should actually have a decent amount of push with Ezreal and Morgana in the bottom lane, so the bottom half of the map is already a strong side for Gambit, a bit of a shift from their last game, and now they just want to round things out with, I feel, a pretty safe blind pick top. Either the Cho'Gath or the Maokai could work. If they want a little bit more engaged, Scion is the other option they can go for.
Look at you. It's almost like you're an analyst or something. There's the Scion pickup for Gambit. Again, a really well-rounded comp. Looks very similar to what they just won with. And again, I think sticking to pretty standard stuff, especially for them, looking to scale up into that mid-game and then take over from there. But what is this last pick from Rainbow7?
Cho'Gath, most likely. It's like the
That's
best
a good
pick
one.
into the Scion. I feel like that it already follows up on the engage that R7 have already built for themselves. And, oh, okay, no, instead, we will have the Swain up towards the top side. I was kind of expecting it to be in the mid. It does mean that they'll be very AP focused with triple AP threat towards the top side of the map. I'm pretty sure that Syndra will not be in the top lane. I can be fairly confident on that.
That I also agree with.
But into the Anivia, that's quite interesting. In the early levels, you will have a bit of pressure. And we'll see if Seiya, kind of the god of Latin America North, the man that has been playing since 2013, is really the big superstar of that region. He is now being put onto a carry. the emphasis is going to be him, especially given how consistent and reliable he has been so far in the playing stage. Can he have the performance he needs to get into that tiebreaker game?
It does feel like, especially in the mid-jungle section of this game, there's a lot of potential volatility. Syndra a decent amount of pressure, especially when he hits 6. And of course, Diamondprox on the Olaf, certainly taking the strong, more high-tempo jungler early on into this one. So again, a lot on the line for both these teams. I think Gambit doing the expected thing and kind of playing what they just did, a style that they're very refined with. I think R7 have defaulted somewhat to comfort here in this draft, but I like the flex pick of the Swain. They've kind of thrown a wrench here, and they need that, and then maybe something else if they want to top this group. Because remember, even if they win, it will only force a tiebreak. So a lot for these teams to think about. Again, if there's a tiebreak, there'll be a whole lot of prep in that during that last game.
That certainly will be. We will still have KLG versus Ascension after this. Both teams are out of contention, so that could be a pretty fun game to watch later on.
I'm excited. I'm actually surprisingly excited for that one.
But we still have to get through this one, Pastry. Yes. This is the decider. Will Gambit lock it in? Will they be the first team to qualify for the best of 5? Or will they be forced into that timebreaker? Can Rainbow6 get the 3-0 day?
Well, we'll have to see. Tension kind of spreading out through Summoner's Rift, mirroring the champions as they spread out here defensively at level 1.
And just as we did last game, let's take a look back at what happened the last time these two teams went up against each other, because it was quite exciting, Pastry. We saw the Nocturne Karthus combo. Lasers in the sky, all kinds of darkness, kind of a child's nightmare. It was a bit of it was Rainbow7's nightmare, as they kind of struggled to know how to deal with what they defined as cheese. And they were able to find a couple of early plays. They were able to mitigate some of the pressure, but in the mid-game, that's where things really spiked. It's a typical trend for Gambit. The 20-minute mark is where they really turn on around 2 items. They utilize that item spike well, and they've been able to find it. But we've got to keep our eyes on this Morgana. She's hanging around the mid lane.
Oh, what a binding from Edward. Kira also going to land the stun in. Still damage down. No ignite this time for Kira, but Edward, he's the one that has it. They're going to force the flash out of Sayer as Gentix looking to try and take the stun, but doesn't quite land it as Diamond and Stayhouse also invading towards this red buff.
Now, this is a beautiful start for Gambit, because not only will they be able to get a steal on the enemy red buff, but Sayer has been forced extremely low. Both of his health pots are already gone. And with the Ignite coming out from Morgana, it means that Kira, he has everything available to him. Once again, going for the spellbook. No Ignite this time around, though. Decided to go for the barrier instead. But having that early pressure against a Syndra is extremely valuable for the enemy.
Yeah, curious to see where Oddie goes. Probably expecting him to run straight to that red, but there is a ward that I think will time out right of Kira. That won't spot Oddie if he chooses to go there. Instead, he's just going to take his camps and I think accept the steal at this rate. Although we'll have to see as Diamond does look to be going towards that left-hand side, and Kira, no ward to reward just yet, but is at least maybe checking. Logic, they're going to get jumped on. Getting some White Lotus, getting nice and aggressive. Edward level 1 will get stunned. Binding no going to land back in as Logic now returns fire.
And Rainbow7 basically just getting the early level 2. Kira checking out the red buff to see if Oddie was trying to get the steal. There will be a ward to spot him out. But due to the all-in that happened down the bottom lane from White Lotus and Gentix, they do actually have a decent amount of pressure, which would make it easier for Oddie to go for the invade. Instead, he's showing the respect. He's just going to go for the Scuttle Crab. He still has the choice to go for a steal, but it's very, very risky, especially with Diamondprox already completing his wolves and now heading towards the bottom side.
No need to take the risk, so Oddie will play respectfully, but unfortunately for him, it looks like he is going to get 3 buffed by Diamondprox, who also stole away those Raptors. Oddie will now walk back to Diamond. Very healthy, very good early farming pattern here for the Olaf. Oh, I did not notice that the first time. That is the feels bad, man.
That is the ultimate feels bad, man. Geralt also struggling up towards the top side of the map. The thing about Swain is he did also receive a couple nerfs across 8.7 and 8.8. Especially the big one was to his Q. The cooldown increased, the damage has been reduced, and his early push was weak before. It's a lot weaker now, especially against the Sion, who, even though Sion did have some nerfs himself, he's still really obnoxious in the laning phase. And you're just kind of seeing that as Geralt is constantly forced under his tower, but he's still doing pretty well in terms of the farm. And it's just kind of what you expect from one of the longest standing players on this roster, and also just kind of a veteran of the Rainbow7 squad.
Yep, certainly has had a pretty good day for himself so far. We'll see how Geralt continues that as these waves are just kind of pushing back and forth. Looks like Gambit have reversed theirs in bot side. And are now going to go for a recall based on Logic's blue pill. Diamond, though, again, continuing to clear up. Has the Predator and 2 jungle items ready, looking for a lane gang perhaps here in top.
can see that Oddie is hanging around, but there's enough vision right now due to that melee minion that is spotting out the back brush. Now it is in darkness. He should be able to sneak his way in. But Gerard, he's a ranged top laner. He doesn't really need to overextend. He does have control over the river, but I feel like he's going to take this and just back. Or not, Gerard.
Playing a little bit recklessly, perhaps goes way too far forward. Now Diamond springs the trap. First act goes awry, but now the Vision of Empire is going to try and slow it all down. Like this to burn the flash. Don't shoot over the fallen flash. Instantly goes in. They want first blood. They will get it. Diamond claims the kill.
Oh, and Gerald, he overstepped his bounds in the top lane. He didn't find it suspicious. The Stasia stopped pushing. He didn't read the trend, and as a result, he gets baited into the trap. First blood goes down to Gambit.
Watch this setup again. Diamond very patient here in this brush.
And in this situation, Gerald's just reading this like, oh, okay, I have vision control over the river. Stasius is clearly just respecting the possibility of an enemy jungler. But no, it was all a trap. He ended up getting baited in. The setup is easy enough. I believe double flashes, probably unnecessary, but they end up getting the kill, and that's fundamentally what they wanted.
Looked cool though, so style points perhaps given over, but the summoners do give them the kill. And again, Gambit continue. Maybe the best award so far in MSI. 100% first blood participation still. Diamond getting in amongst it every single game.
First blood king of the play-ins so far. Diamond now heading towards the middle lane, but I feel like we have to draw attention back down to the bot.
Yeah, again, Lodic all alone. Does burn the flash, but gets knocked up by Oddie, and that's death. White Lotus just takes him down.
He just got obliterated. Good positioning there from Oddie to come in from the flank. Edward was off for a roam, which is something that he often does. Rainbow7 going for the punish, and even with the flash, even with the dash, it was not enough.
Saya tries to take away those Raptors. Good ward to spot Diamond retaking those, but the big one and the majority of the gold does go over to Diamond as Gentix does put a ward behind that Drake. Again, Olaf can get aggressive on the early Drake if he wants, so I think just getting some vision and again trying to track Diamond, who has been aggressive, but Oddie to his credit with a great gank in the bot lane does get things going for I think the man we really need to see get going, White Lotus and his Tristana.
He certainly will be a big part of Rainbow7's success if they want to get themselves a win. Remember, they do have a bit of a scaling composition, very much geared towards team fighting. That's why I was kind of surprised when they swapped the Swain up towards the top lane, because you could see like they had a lot of area of effect damage. They had good scaling across mid and AD, and then just a tank in the top lane I feel would have rounded things out. But with the Syndra, you're kind of setting up, especially with the Zac, kind of, you mentioned it earlier, the potential to dive a lot in the middle lane. You have a lot of good CC setup and a decent amount of burst, but because of the early disadvantages that Oddie found himself in, losing his red buff and having a lot of his camp stolen away, and now another invade, he's falling really far behind.
Really good control ward actually from Gambit. Diamondprox knows he's got free reign walking into that jungle.
Oddie, this is not your jungle anymore.
Yeah, no Predator pop. Diamondprox going in. He's got the red buff, but he just freshly stole. Pops the Ragnarok. But Oddie does get away. Forced to burn the flash, though.
And this is the risk. We talked about it in Champion Select. His activity gets really low. Oh, that's a flash in.
Again, bot lane going through. Edward used the Black Shield on himself, waiting for it to time out, but it doesn't quite time out in time. No kill this time for the dual lane of R7, but Gerald's getting low. Stalos might be ready with the ulti. Oh, and Diamond's here. This looks like bad times for Gerald.
I don't know if he can get out of this situation. He has his ult.
Not anymore, I don't think. Yeah, first axe goes. Gonna pop the ult, gonna get knocked up, and see you later, Diamond. Ooh, nice route, but Diamond walks away.
Oh, so much pressure coming up towards the top side of the map. Kira also made his way up there to make or add insult to injury. While all this actually is happening up towards the top side, we're seeing a lot of action geared towards the bot for Rainbow7. Lodic only level 5, being forced away from his tower. Now Kira just avoiding that. But this should be first tower going in favor of Gambit. Diamondprox really utilizing the early playmaking power that Olaf does have, especially over the jungle counterpart of Zac.
Yep, first bit of extra gold goes over. Diamond's been doing well, but as you mentioned, Vedius, we are looking at White Lotus here on the Tristana. We're going to get things done. Have a look at those two ADs in just a second, as Oddie looks to kind of roam things down. As you can see, pretty interesting comparison between these two. Lodic has really impressed a lot, and White Lotus, maybe not on day one, but certainly now that the tournament's kicking on.
Yeah, we're looking at the day 3 stats between the two, and even though Lodic struggled at the beginning of the day, he definitely had a much stronger performance as the day progressed. We're not going to have enough time to talk about the ADs because we already see more action happening around the red buff. Let's see how impactful these two ADs can be.
Yeah, it looks like the commit actually is here. Oddie does get ignited by Edward. Oh, good steal for Syndra. Oh, Kira wants it. Gonna flash forward in. Wall off Oddie. Turn him into Bloblets. And this should be a free pickup. Who's going to get it? Who wants the kill? I think Kira does.
Kira, yeah, they're just going to hand it over to the mid laner of Gambit. Rainbow7, they tried to get the steal. They were not fast enough. Unfortunately for them, Oddie loses his life, still level 5. Yet to claim a red buff in this game. Gambit are doing a fantastic job of just constantly shutting him down.
Yeah, Diamond Prox, the CS leader, is starting to get a little out of control, even for a jungle matchup here. As Kira and Diamond again continue this invade pattern. Diamond, known famously in the very early days of his career for being such a good aggressive counter jungler and showcasing some of that history here, as this blue buff's going over to Kira as well. This Grom also forfeit. Diamond, complete control of this early game.
Just look at the level difference between the two junglers. We don't have time. Look at the bot lane.
It's gross. It's 3 right now. Make it 2 as Oddie does ding 6, but the tower is under threat. Top already went down thanks to Diamond's earlier pressure. Gambit is starting to really snowball this game out of control.
This is literally just the difference in the junglers and the matchup. They took the top lane tower due to the amount of pressure that Diamond Prox was able to exert. They've now brought that pressure down towards the bot lane, and they're going to secure another tower. Gambit, with a nearly 4,000 gold lead, 10 minutes into the game, Rainbow7 have 0 options.
And Diamond is saying, you know what, you start the Rift Tower, but that is not yours either. Get away from my monsters, as White Lotus going to try and move this big wave in towards this turret and trade something back. But Diamond already here. Edge are going to thin out the wave. Not sure the dual lane will be up in time, but they are going to try.
You know, and we talked about the 280 carries, the matchup, how interesting it's going to be. White Lotus, the veteran, who's been competing for quite a while now, the last few international events. He has really been able to have those standout performances, but yet to really make it into the group stages of MSI and Worlds, versus the young AD rookie of Lodic, joining Gambit squad halfway through their split. You're gonna have to kind of rely on White Lotus in this situation. Lodic, he can just kind of sit back, ride the wave. Everything is going well for him, even though he struggled during the laning phase. Whereas White Lotus, all the pressure kind of falls on him to be the big carry. Rainbow7 are gonna have to find a way to stall this game out. And they have to be careful of that 20-minute Baron. We saw it last game. Gambit, they're likely going to do it again, and Rainbow7 have to have good control over that area, otherwise Gambit will snowball just like they did.
Yeah, I mean, Diamond is continuing to grind out advantages for his team. Again, we kind of talk about Gambit being comfortable in these scaling spots toward the mid-game, but this is an even more comfortable lead that you can try and sit on if you do need to slow the pace of the game down. But so far, that is not a word that Diamond understands very well today, despite excellent English, I might add. Cardrake goes over to Gambit. They will collect the first one of this game.
Just looking across the board right now, checking out some of the items that have been completed. Nothing yet. The only major thing that has been finished is
mobility boots.
Yeah, we've got a mobility boots on Edward. Not really surprised, that dude loves to run. We've also got a banner of command up in the top lane.
A bit more important.
Very really,
Really?
It is very effective against AP champions because you kind of need auto attacks to kill it. And there is a triple AP threat towards the top side of R7's comp. So it will be difficult to clear that one out, and you can already see some of the pressure being now exerted onto Seiya, as that final added tower is all that left for Gambit to take down.
And I think with Rift Tower still being available, R7 tried it a couple of times to take it down, but I think, again, Gambit shifting now to the top side of the map. Kira's already started it, actually, and that looks like a pretty easy move over to mid to claim that last outer turret of this game and keep R7 from getting really anything other than the one kill they've collected.
Will Rainbow7 go for a fight? I feel like it's way too risky right now when Tristana doesn't even have an item completed and how far behind Oddie is. So they will just give it up. That mid tower now looking very, very pulp for the taking. For the taking.
Looking a little too squishy, which is odd for a stone structure. But it's like Diamond's going to move over. Oh, here we go. How good's he's drifting. Stayhouse going to try and get back down to the bot lane and save the wave. He's got DP, he needs to get back. And that is clean, Vedius.
Damn. This guy is a drift king. Stajo secures the farm in the bottom lane.
Very important.
Super important. He still has teleport, so should a fight kick off, he can join the battle. But likely that he won't need it, because he can just push out this bottom wave. He then creates a bit of a window for himself. He can then walk up towards the middle lane. But it looks like that all the waves are just going to be pushed out. I imagine Gambit going to go back to base, maybe spend a bit of the gold they've picked up for themselves, and then look to take that mid-tier 1. They do have the Rift Herald, and I feel like that becomes the next easiest objective for them to take.
And again, considering the stakes here in this game for Gambit, given that a win here secures them that qualifying spot into the knockout stage for the play-ins. Very important that I think they just kind of do their due diligence, protect their towers for as long as they can, continue snowballing advantages, just push out your waves, play it safe, play it simple. Kind of the style of league that Gambit really has showcased so far in this tournament. I feel like when the games get scrappier, Gambit maybe look a little shakier, but in this kind of controlled game, they have certainly shone.
Certainly seems to be the case. Gambit showing the evolution that they've made from last year, where they went 0-4 in the world's playing stages, really struggled and underperformed relative to so many expectations that were put upon them, compared to now, where they're now 4-1 in the group. Only one more win will secure them that spot into the best of fives. And for Rainbow7, it's just more tragedy. This is a team that typically tops their group. They always fell short in the best of fives. But now they have one last opportunity. And even if they win, they still have to win that tiebreaker game. And right now, things are looking difficult for them. A 4,000 gold deficit at 15 minutes into the game is a huge deficit to come back from.
And again, you can see Logic is a potential brush camp being set up there by 3 members of Rainbow7. But Logic, again, respecting that, playing back. Diamond still with that Rift Herald to use. Sayo will get a blue buff, which was what happened the last time around, but Diamond using this opportunity to channel the Rift Herald and make sure this turret goes down in mid. In fact, with that health, it's dead.
I agree.
I mean, I wasn't that certain. I was like, oh, better just make sure that it happens. But yeah, the outer ring is failed now by Gambit as they take down the turret, showing such great controlled League of Legends so far this game.
Yep. You know, we harp on about it. It just comes back to that jungle matchup. You know, we talked about it in the draft. I was like, ooh, Rainbow7, they're probably going to go for an early Olaf here. They banned Kha'Zix, they banned Trundle. The next best pick would be the Olaf. Instead, they go for the Zac, and they leave the Olaf open. And Diamond Proc says, yeah, I'll take that. I'm more than happy to. We've already got comfort picks for Lodic and Kira. Stagos can play whatever tank he wants in the top side, and we're more than happy to play around this, especially given how much we love the Baron and love early playmaking. So they found the advantages, and now Oddly. Let's see if he can find his second successful play, because credit to him, he did have one gank onto Lodic in the bot, but outside of that, he hasn't really influenced the game in any other way.
No, and it has been tough for Rainbow7, given how much total map pressure Gambit have put on. But Oddly, I mean, Zac can make a lot of plays with the bevy of CC available in his kit. But again, Gambit sweeping things out, being very safe and careful. We'll see if Lodic takes any sort of bait here in the top lane. How long will they sit there for? That's the question we'll have to ask. And Edward just says, I think you're in there. I'll find you.
Good respect being shown from Gambit. Edward, that's the experience kicking in, you know, your spidey senses tingling. When you play League of Legends for long enough, you just have this intuition. And for Edward, it certainly was there. So Rainbow7 failed another opportunity. They're being pushed in top, they're being pushed in bots. Infernal Rig spawning soon, so you would imagine that Gambit are looking towards picking up that objective. And Rainbow7 are just slowly losing more and more control over the map, and you're just kind of looking at options, and it's difficult for them because they need Gambit to mess up. They need Gambit to overextend. Maybe Rainbow7 can find a pick. Maybe if they can get to 2 or 3 items, then Rainbow7 can look to force a play, but right now with the amount of control that Gambit has over the map, it's all on Gambit to really throw away this game.
I was going to say, given the style they've kind of presented in this game and the last game, I think that's very wishful thinking at this point for Gambit to mess up. So all the control right now back down to the right-hand side of the map as Infernal is spawning in 5 seconds. Kira's already channeling the Glacial Storm with his blue buff just to ensure maximum uptime on the raid boss. Infernal Drake will be forfeited over, and Rainbow7, like you said, continue to get ground away by Gambit. At some point, they'll pull the trigger on a big engage. But Gambit, they've also shown they can be proactive when they know their items are ready. So it's not just enough to sit back and hope something happens, because Gambit will dictate pace once the 20-25 minute mark hits, and we are getting close to that, Betty.
We certainly are, Pastry. And just to illustrate control, you'll notice the difference between when you're fighting for vision versus when you have it, because Gambit have control over all of the entrances to Rainbow7's jungle. You can see 2 control wards in the top side of the map, and right now the bottom side has just been cleared out, but that's because Gambit literally just took everything from there, and Rainbow7 are then moving back in. That means that every time Rainbow7 want to move in to clear their vision, they first have to get control over their own jungle before they can even look to contest River. That means that playing around Baron becomes very, very difficult, because one of the first steps whenever trying to fight for Baron is gain mid control and then gain river control. And if you can't even approach the river, then obviously gaining it becomes that much harder.
I was going to say, Edward walked in and finally found the 2 control wards who were sitting in those brushes to try and set up the play earlier. kind of, again, think about, on your point, where Rainbow7 are putting their vision. They're putting it in to try and find a pick and just get some gold. Kind of reeks of desperation at this point. It is such a tough situation in a game like this. And you have to think Gambit are just playing slowly, but with real confidence, as they know that this is the game they need to just lock first and have no more questions be asked.
Exactly that. And so the Baron will become the big priority for them. The next few steps you'll see from Gambit are Stasios will look to push out bot, and rather than use his teleport, the window that he creates will be used to move towards the Baron. They'll then have a numbers advantage, and initially they'll try and force Gerald to TP. They don't need to try and rush it down and potentially have it stolen away from them. And once they have the teleport advantage, then it becomes 100 times easier to play around this objective. At least that's the safe approach. This is Gambit. They might just look to rush it down. They might go for that 50-50. But right now you can see further vision being set up towards the enemy jungle, trying to deny Rainbow7 as much control around that objective as possible.
Stasios is really strong in this 1v1, just thanks to Banner and the Abyssal Mask. I mean, the gold that Gambit have, 6,000 gold ahead, giving them so many advantages here in this mid-game as they will look, as you said, towards that Baron. But Kira, again, just pushing the wave out, getting mid-priority, doing the simple things here, and getting what looks like complete dominance of vision on the left-hand side. That Baron is lit up for Gambit.
Very, very
time to start a party.
Very good Baron setup from them. Right now, though, Gambit's focus is stealing away the blue buff. I think this is fine, because they shouldn't lose that much vision control around the Baron as a result. They still have good mid-priority. They set up the wave up top, which means the White Lotus had to go and catch it. For the next few steps, we should see Stasios try to start moving with his team, trying to force that teleport out from Gerald. White Lotus will get a bit of a push, but because the tower's still there, there's not a huge amount that they can gain. And Gambit instead, with the numbers advantage, is going to go for this mid-tier 2.
Yep, force them back, take the tier 2, widen the hole in the middle of the map that Rainbow7 have to traverse to contest for this Baron. White Lotus will stay for the trade, but Stasios also, again, doing work on the side lane with the Banner, will take this turret 1v1 versus Ural and his Swain. So make it 2 turrets. White Lotus might just keep going, saying, you know what, at least we're getting gold.
He's doing his best to farm up. He should have the second item completed. Could go for Static Shiv if he wants a bit of extra. Ooh, the Ezreal ult will actually interrupt, and now he's stuck between a rock and a hard
place. That was a beautiful cancel by Lodik, but I think he's found... Oh, he tried to cancel the blast cone for Edward, but Kira flashing forward, looking for the pick. They know it's in. If they can get it, the flash is nice. The Buster Shot isn't bad with the TP, plus the X is going to land. A White Lotus gets taken down by Diamond. Now the fight will break out, but it's a desperate 4v5 for Rainbow7.
And now there's no teleport on Gerald. Here comes the unstoppable force.
Chaos moves in. Good scoop away there by Zach, using his Let's Bounce to kind of peel off the Scion, but again, still scattered across the rift for Rainbow7. Baron looking ripe for Gambit.
Exactly, that Oddie is still alive. Level 11 to the level 12 of Diamond, but I feel like this Baron is Rainbow's last hope of staying alive in this game.
Well, Oddie is alive and moving to the area. Ural gets a blow up on Edwin, and Gambit immediately disengage.
That single pick has delayed the Baron from Gambit. Edward putting himself in a situation that he should not have. But let's see, Gambit with a good collapse here. They use the ulti to interrupt the base from White Lotus. They have the numbers to get the collapse down onto him. He tries to get ahead of the curve by utilizing the blast cone. Big Kira's like, you know what? I have the flash wall. White Lotus actually saves his flash for a very long time. And that allows Diamond to just catch up to the AD carry, get the chase down, secure the kill, and now they're in a position to set up the flank. That is when they collapse onto all 3 members, and even though they don't find a couple of extra kills, they set up for the Baron.
Well, the few mistakes Gambit have made this game. Edward's misposition will cost them here, as they likely would have started the Baron given the situation they had. Instead, they're forced to pull away and reset for another time, but given the lead they have, probably okay in the situation.
Yeah, to be fair, it means that their 20-minute Baron now has to be taken at a more reasonable time in the game, right? So I think that for Gambit, it's still fine. That slight misplay will hurt the fact that Edward doesn't have his flash, which means that if he gets caught out of position, he very likely dies, especially only having the redemption himself. But Gambit's still full control. They just have to reset. You can see a lot of control wards sitting in their inventory right now, and they'll likely just look to reset up around the Baron area.
And again, using those dual sweepers, moving things around, looking for Cloud Drake, I guess, just trying to scrape the rift completely of objectives for Rainbow7 to try and take, or perhaps using it as a lure. We'll see if Rainbow7 dares to dip down there, although given the lane control from Stasios, I don't know how likely it is they'll get it. Again, Gambit, you just look at where Rainbow7 are forced to sit. It is firmly behind the river.
Certainly is. They can't approach. And yeah, oh man, Banner of Command versus AP really, really sucks.
Swain is losing his 1v1 to the Cannon Minion and friends.
Bob the Bannon Minion. Just being a real pain in the backside.
Well, Gambit again, letting things happen. Steos without TP is roamed over to the mid lane. And Saya maybe looking for a pick. Luddick, insta arcane shift, does not want to get picked off there. In fact, maybe a turn can happen. Diamond already charging in. Looking for it going. Saya Banshees will fall off. The redemption's there. The Ezreal is thrown in. All the globals they have are going through. And Ragnarok is just too much for Saya. Diamond Prox on a rampage. His 4th kill claimed.
Saya had Ghost, but he delayed it for so long. Realistically, it probably wasn't going to help him get out of that situation anyway, but Gambit find themselves another pick. Off the back of the control they have over the enemy jungle. You said that they can't go past the river. It feels like they can't even go past their tier 2 towers as Gambit secures another one.
White Lotus is like saying, all right, I might as well trade. Getting the gold, taking down the... Oh, didn't even get the mid-outer. Oh no, now Stayhell's going to hunt him down at least by time. Gambit trying to crack an inhibitor turret right now. Diamond, no pull back in, no ult, no flash. Got to be careful. Great black shield from Edward. Going to keep his long-time teammate safe.
R7 just doing what they can to stall. Now White Lotus being collapsed upon again by Stasios. He's just being an irritation. A swatting fly hanging around White Lotus, just trying to keep him around, stop him from getting back to his team. The goal difference is extended to about 8,000 in Gambit's favor. And they're on track to securing that first place spot after what has been a pretty impressive run from Rainbow7 today. 2-0, they had a tough match against KLG, but a pretty convincing one against Ascension. I'm sure optimism was pretty high from the Latin America North fans, but unfortunately Gambit have come in prepared. They got a lot of their comfort picks, and they are controlling this map very effectively.
Certainly are, and again, we talk about the Baron. Gambit do love the area, have played so well and controlled so far. Rainbow7, if there's going to be an opportunity, it will be around that objective. So we'll see if they can find a big fight with White Lotus, having 3 items, with Oddie able to get in and aggressive with his initiation. Plenty of CC on the top side of the map.
Yeah, any Rainbow7 fans that are out there, White Lotus is your carry to watch. He has to turn this game around, bring Rainbow7 back from an 8,000 gold deficit. It will definitely be a challenge, but with the champion that he has, with the items that he has completed, he is the best hope that Rainbow7 have of turning this game around. One pick, a little bit more stalling could be all that they need. Well, let's see if he can do it.
Going to run a little out of time though, as Stayhos is back with his TP, almost level 16, but with the banner ready for that next Bannon minion. We already saw that Ural really can't contest, and that turret is pretty low, threatening the bot side inhibitor. So Rainbow7, they move in, they get their vision. Oddie, I think, just hiding behind Fog of War, hoping for a pick. Goes in, looks for Edward, but already the black shield there. Good slap together. Luddick insta shifts out of the way, but White Lotus, he smells blood. He wants to kill Edward, will flash out of the way.
Oh, look at Sejos.
Good roam back around. Luddick gets low redemption, but the crit isn't quite enough. White Lotus probably the target. It's Gentix in the front. He's going to get slapped down. Ragnarok there, procced in by Diamond, and there's Bloblets in for Zach, but that's not enough for a full kill. Ural also channeling the ulti, they're trying to zone out White Lotus, but actually pretty well fought as Kira does get the pick in onto Oddie. Ural latches forward, looks for the Nova, doesn't get up at the stopwatch, might keep him alive for a little while longer. Double knock up there for Silence, not going to get it as Edward claims credit on the killing blow. And Rainbow7, they try, they throw in 2, but they're going to lose 2 and maybe more as Saya fought the flash out of the way. Gambit, though, still trotting over. White Lotus, maybe able to get his way in there. He can smell the resets here with the rocket jump, fishing for crits on Kira. Again, the black shield's on point, and Rainbow7, they got so close.
Oh, and now here comes the TP from Stasios.
Close, never enough, though, in League of Legends. Gambit, they can smell the air. We'll get the first kill. White Lotus, we're going to get the reset, but he will go down. Luddick slays the long-time AD. And now the flash forward, knock up by Stayhill. Gentix is like, I am so sorry, buddy, but there is nothing I can do for you today. Saya, though, says it's okay. I can do it myself. He'll run away, slowing as he goes. And Gambit, they will extend for the pick. No, instead they peel off. They're going to look left. Maybe for the objective. The map will reset, Vedius.
What an extended fight. White Lotus tried so hard to turn that team fight in his team's favor. but Gambit's front line was just too strong. Stasios and Diamond surviving for so long. An inability to get onto the back line because of Kira's use of zone control was fantastic. They still had the tower to play around. If White Lotus could have just gotten one kill, one jump, one reset, maybe it could have swung in their favor, but Gambit still had control. The problem is, because they tried to go for the re-engage, they used their teleport, they used a lot of summoner spells, and they aren't actually able to set up for the Baron. So, Stasios comes in from the flank. White Lotus is the person you need to initially track because he forces Lodic out of the fight. Now, Gentix gets forced super low, that's one tank down. Odie gets chunked out because he dives in without the support from his team. He now gets chunked out. And then you're looking here and you're thinking, Diamond, he's getting super low if they can just get the kill, but now White Lotus is zoned away because of the Anivia ulti and the wall. So Giral goes in to try and get the cleanup. He can't do it. He gives away his life. And then in a 3 versus 5, there's very little that Rainbow7 can do to turn it around.
We talked a lot about the AD carry matchup. Look at the damage they dished out in that long extended passage. But Gambit, they're just about 10,000 gold ahead. They went from 1 banner to 2 as Rainbow7 know their side lanes are in trouble. Oddie is trying to find an angle for this initiation. White Lotus, you don't have flash, so you better play perfectly.
Gambit have looked extremely strong this game. They took the early lead and they've maintained control, but a couple of these fights, a couple of overcommitments toward these picks have meant that the Baron has not gone in their favor, but now they've started it. They have full vision control. I think they're going to get this one for free.
10 minutes late on the Baron, but looks like still it will ring true for Gambit. Need a bit more. Oddie's actually in here for a steal. Doesn't have his flash. I think he just used his slingshot. They need to zone him out. They get the root. He's going to ult his way into the pit. Saying that unleashed on Edward. He is going to go down. Rainbow7 might have found something here, but Lodic knows you can assassinate the jungler. Get them a White Lotus. Still around the backside. Going to try and get it done. Still the wall again from Kira is so good. And Baron does go to Gambit.
Oddie dived into the pit to try and get the steal. Gambit immediately disengaged. Oddie was forced to use his smite early in order to just stay alive, but it does not pay out. Gambit secure the Baron. They end up trading 1-for-1. Yes, they'll lose their mid-tier 1, but overall, it was worth for Gambit.
Well, the Banner minion in the bot side still doing that work. The turret's pretty low, but R7 looks like they will get back in time to make sure it is saved. Yep, the tower locks on, hits it down, and goodbye, my friend. Bob the Banner minion will be missed until he reappears in a couple minutes. In fact, soon. There's, again, 2 banners here for Gambit, knowing that they can push that triple AP topside all across the map. And now with Baron, good luck in the next siege, Rainbow7. You are going to need it.
We've seen how good Kira is when it comes to sieging with Anivia. When you have these empowered minions and the amount of zone control that glacial bird can provide, it becomes so difficult for Rainbow7 to stall. They're going to have to find some big team fight to swing this back into their favor.
It may be grim, but it is not game yet, Vedi, as White Lotus, 4 items now, count them, building in towards that Filbu Tristana, building up levels, getting range on Jorah Beat. He can do it if Rainbow7 can find a miracle or 2 at this point.
Look at Oddie. He's sitting off in the fog of war. He has to find that engage. But will the follow-up come through even if he does? Remember how much control Kira has. He can deny a lot of the follow-up as that tower very likely to fall.
Yeah, this one already had a lot of prep work done. Lodic does eat a root there from the Swain, but again, still the power of Gambit will push them onto this inhibitor, and they will get it down. Top wave already prepped, mid not looking bad as it moves in towards Rainbow7's remaining few inhibitors, and again, Gambit will fall back to the Cloud Drake. They will play it safe. They do not want to throw this one away.
Small shout out to the fact that Diamond has gone above and beyond the Flame Horizon on Oddie. He has not let down on the pressure. Level 16. He actually
What is that gold lead?
That was the gold. He is the gold lead for Gambit. That is unbelievable. Just showing you how to punish when you have a favorable matchup in the jungle. This is that jungle v jungle interaction that Riot wanted, and this is what can happen.
Again, also playing kind of support as well. Zeke's Convergence, Randuin's Locket, connected to Kira right now. So he can empower his teammates as well, as this siege is going to be brutal. Kira just fishing for a couple picks. Lodic staying safe, burns the Arcane Shift. Ooh, very nice from Seiya, pulling that empowered minion away with her W.
But there's another one.
Always another one. Oddie goes in, that's a pick maybe. Omelet's there, Anivia goes down, White Lotus, he's the man they need as Oddie pulls 2 back. This could be the fight for Rainbow7 as Diamond's going to try and get away. Ural flashes forward, doesn't quite get him with a Nova, but Odi has his sights set on the enemy jungler. Diamond running away. No flashes here in the top side, and Diamond is just going to keep hoofing it. The Cloud Drakes, they're kicking Invitational. Triple Cloud, he gets away.
Wait, but is he away just yet? Look, the collapse is coming in from Rainbow7.
Gotta keep juking Diamond. No, finally shut down by Saya. Rainbow7, they find an angle.
And Gambit dropped the ball. Rainbow7 finally engaged they were looking for, even against the Baron-empowered Gambit. They are now grouped up as 5. They secured themselves a tower. That 12,000 gold lead has shrunk to 8. Pastry time. Wow, let's have a look at how this all kicked off. So, initially the cannon goes down. Odi sitting in fog of war. Kira ready to set up. Oh, but the stun from Saya is all that they needed. Lodic immediately forced to fight, and Status, he's on the back line. He's already out of this fight. He's like, nope, I can't tank anything here if my carries are already done. Fantastic fight for Rainbow7 and Gambit. They've now lost the Baron. The amount of control that they have had for the vast majority of this game is slowly starting to slip away as Rainbow7 have not given up yet.
And the 0 damage Anivia will have to change for the next team fight. Kira didn't have it in that last fight. It wouldn't have mattered because Saya sniped him with a sphere. But Deathcap is now completed for this Anivia, and Rainbow7 still have an issue with those super minions in the bot lane. Elder Dragon also now something they'll have to think about. And of course the second Baron that Gambit may well need to close out this game. Rainbow7, the hope has not died yet.
No, it has not. White Lotus, we talked a lot about him being the big carry, but it was Saya that comes up clutch in the dire moment. He is one of the big heroes, one of the big stars for Latin America North.
And the issue is, you test resolve in these kind of moments, Vedis. Despite the lead that Gambit still have, it is getting less and less relevant as the game kicks on.
Very
and
true.
Lodic, especially the rookie, can he fight the tension that Gambit must be feeling in this game that will claim them first place if they can win?
And as a reminder, Rainbow7, if they win, it will still force a tiebreaker. They will still have to play another game which will take place immediately after KLG versus Ascension, which is our final regularly scheduled game of the day. But a Gambit win means they secure first place in the group, and they will be going on to play either EVOS or the Flash Wolves in the best of 5 later on in the week.
Gambit still up to the regular scheduled business here in mid lane, trying to make that seed a little bit better than last time. Again, Banner's ready. 7 starting to just wave clear these things out. Between Tristana and Syndra, pretty simple for them to clear out the waves. And even White Lotus, I think maybe visited a Banner minion down there, or just took some fun because he's almost full build as well.
Odi yet to complete his second major item. He's got components of it, but not as tanky as I'm sure he would like to be.
If he finds an engage like the last one though,
it doesn't matter.
May not matter.
He definitely wants to keep doing that. You can see now the empowered cannon minion up towards the top lane. And just the rest of Gambit backing off for now. They have full control over the top side jungle. They want to base, reset, because they need to restock on their vision. Once they've got that, they know that the moment the Baron spawns, if Rainbow7 clear it out, they will be in a better position to regain control and immediately rush that down. And what are the chances that Rainbow7 could really find 2 engages in a row like that?
Well, 20 seconds till the Baron's going to probably let us find out soon. White Lotus playing a little too far forward, perhaps. Theos reads this, goes for White Lotus, who does have the sums again. Burns the jump out of the way. Binding's going to miss. Odi thinks about a channel, but doesn't quite grab it. Kira walls them off. Need to stay safe. Gambit, again, not willing to overcommit as they find Odi. But again, slapped together. Nice Black Shield from Edward. But Rainbow7 are fending them off so far. Bot inhib has respawned as well. And the Baron is now live.
It's getting tense.
It's getting really tense, Thaddeus.
There's a 7,000 gold lead in favor for Gambit, but it feels like it means little to nothing with 4 items done for both mid laners. The AD carry looks super strong on the side of Rainbow7, but that doesn't mean that Lodic is a slouch either. Just compare the relative scaling of Tristana in the late game versus an Ezreal. You kind of always have to give it towards the Trist. Giral also completing the Void Staff. He'll have a little bit more power in his punches. We'll see how things play out. Baron, ooh, you can see Odi taking a decent amount of damage. He'll be chunked out a little bit by Kira and the squad.
They are also fishing for stuns. Does get Edward that time. Black Shield somehow left him alive. But again, Gambit know they've set this map up well. They've got top lane prepped and ready. Someone has to go answer that. Ural will go, but he does still have the TP. Gambit may play it slow for the TP bait.
Elder Dragon spawning now as well. Gambit could pick up either one of them. Look at the damage dealt this game from White Lotus. We talked about him being the big carry. Well, he has been stepping up along with Saya. The picks that they've found, the damage they've been dealing will be huge in the coming fights. Kira, good start.
Oh my goodness, yep, force the flash. Kira knows no overcommit. Oddi's a good pick if he can get it. Last kill, no, going to keep him safe.
And that should be Elder Drake secured for Gambit.
And you know what? Elder Dragon's really good at helping you team fight and really, really good helping you take Baron very quickly.
Oh, yes,
Gambit rushed straight to the area.
Really good play there from Kira. He had control over that single corridor, which meant that using the wall and using the stun, he was able to zone the opposition out. Stajo's going to use his ulti to quickly rejoin his team. Rainbow7, I don't know if they can gamble this.
Yep, Vision ult down. Seos even uses his ulti just to get to the Baron in time, and the Baron is going to go down. Gambit a few steps away from closing this game and clinching first in this group, moving on to the best of 5, but it is not done yet.
Everything is set up perfectly for Gambit to end the game. This has to be a huge Gambit throw in order for Rainbow7 to find a comeback. But this lane into the game, death time is long. One big team fight for Rainbow7 could be enough for Rainbow7 to just run it down mid and end the game. The question is, will they find the fight that they found before? Will Gambit drop the ball? I feel like they won't. I feel like this is where they end it. I feel like Gambit have played this game mostly extremely well. It's just about catering to that White Lotus wall.
Well, you've done a great job of setting up quite possibly the most dramatic ending to this 2018 MSI play-in. We'll have to see though. Because Gambit, again, maybe taking a little too long. You always, again, have to worry, are they playing too safe? I don't necessarily think so, but you have to think mentally the player's thinking, oh no, there's no way this can happen to us.
Yeah, I think that's about a minute left on the Elder Drake. Gambit, they want to try and take advantage of that while they still can. 2 minutes on the Baron, there should be more than enough time. Here they go. This is where it begins, Pace Reed.
Oddi, though, in such a great spot, channeling away.
Go.
It's going to be a disappointing one. Oh, great stun. They don't go in for White Lotus. They take the turret instead. Going to play it real slow here for Gambit.
Look at the burn coming down onto White Lotus, taking so much damage simply passively from the Elder Drake. Inhib will fall, and Gambit making their moves through the rest of Rainbow7's base.
They've Baron for so long as well. If they can just take these and let the supers charge in. Oh, Staos again threatening. Doesn't pull the trigger on the ult just yet. I think they're going to go tutorial style as well, Vedius. Just take all the inhibs and maximize your chances to close out this game.
Yeah, Gambit are basically saying, you know what, we don't actually want to fight you guys at all. We're just going to let the minions win the game for us. And it is working out nicely. Lodic, though, gets thrown over the wall by the blast.
Yeah, that was a little loose, potentially, but everything stays okay as Will's mobility gets him out. And Gambit do not want to live up to their namesake this time around. They are playing as best odds they can, but Lodic has been caught. Slapped together, this could be bad news. Bears! Turret goes down though again, everyone's still alive. Redemption will reset the fight for Gambit, but they are down a couple cooldowns. Saya again doing so much damage. Banshees protect him in the dark binding, and Oddi not going to pull the trigger this time.
But no one can follow up if he goes to that. That's the risk that he has to be careful of. Gold means little to nothing at this point for most of the carries. I'm sure Oddi would like a little bit more golden experience though. But now there are 2 pushing waves that Rainbow7 have to deal with as well. Oh, the fact that the game isn't over yet, though, still means that that Rainbow7 win condition is alive. Gambit fans must be feeling tense right now. They've seen them lose these fights.
This is the problem. You get ahead in the game, you feel so good, you build up this big snowball, and then the game goes on, you're like, why hasn't this game ended yet? And you start to have the doubt creep into your mind. And if this goes to a tiebreak, the mental's going to have to get some sort of hard reset video.
It's like in those solo queue games where you're like, we had a 10k gold lead earlier on, but I know that one of my teammates is going to get caught and this game is suddenly going to flip on its head. The question is, will one of those Gambit members get caught out? Will that individual make the mistake that allows Rainbow7 in? As Kira's still looking very good. Here we go.
Lodic again. Oh no, the target Staos actually taking a little too much damage. Got it! May have got 2, but Kira flushes out of the way, and Ragnarok will keep Diamond safe. This is the problem. Minions in the bot side of the map are going to pressure these Nexus turrets.
Black Shield keeps coming up for Edward. They're just utilizing the minions to win them the game. Gambit want to avoid fights at all costs. A lot of summoner spells were used, but Girol doing his best to wave clear on the bot side.
Both big buffs have worn off though. Elder Dragon and Baron now dropped as Gambit want this third in here. That could be the bait that moves him in. White Lotus gets stunned. He doesn't quite go in. Oddie again getting chunked. That's not really where he can engage. Seos again gets a double knocker, but they're just going to take the in-hit. Gambit so close. Again, attrition out Rainbow7. Not interested in sticking around. Again, as close to 100% success rate as they can get for this game.
Yep, my word. So tense for Gambit, but they walk away victorious. They lose no members. They only lose a couple of summoner spells. The flash being down for Kira could be huge. With the Black Shield still available for Edward, he's going to have to keep an eye on his mid lane and make sure he does not get caught out of position. Now Baron, I believe it's spawning in about 3 minutes time.
I'm also looking at Elder Dragon as well, which has received buffs in recent
The second Elder is scary.
It's real good for Gambit. And if anyone's surprised, I doubt it. This is the longest game of MSI 2018 so far. Again, Gambit playing it slow, trusting their style, trusting their ability to just grind out this game and win, even in what could be a coin flip situation right down to the wire. And White Lotus, the damage numbers just keep going up for total damage dealt this game. Six item Triss does not mess around, Vedius.
No, it does not. Seiya no slouch either. Girol has struggled to have an impact in these games so far, but he's been relegated to wave clear duty for most of the game. 4 1-on-1 right now for the mid lane of Rainbow7. The only person who really needs the gold isn't getting it. Oddie, still level 16. He doesn't care at this point in the game. He's like, you know what, as long as my carries can do the job. Oh, even boots have been sold to White Lotus. Literally 6 items completed.
Yep. I expected to see it. White Lotus knows, well, not really going anywhere, but defending my base, so might as well sell them.
That's true. If you don't have to go anywhere, why do you need walk?
Genius. It's genius. If they're all dead, it can't stop me anyway. That's our 7th plan at this point. Just kill them all and run it down. But my goodness, they're being pushed to the brink. 2 Nexus turrets, all they have left standing to defend themselves.
Rainbow7. They want that tiebreaker against Gambit. Gambit want to secure their spot in the best of 5. There is only 2 Nexus turrets that stand in Gambit's way of securing first place.
Yep, 2 turrets and 5 very pesky players still defending their home base. Oh, Minute Hip goes back up and like, all right, deal with that. Oh, nice wall, but Oddie maybe thinks again an opportunity. Slap there, but a huge amount of burst. Oddie into Boblets already. White Lotus trying to get it done, but he can't quite find the target. Girol flashed into the back. A huge dive. The cook gets set up. Girol trying to find it, but he can't quite grab it. Gets rooted in place. Gambit trying to out the fight beautifully, and the look of that man's face says it all.
Kira stays alive. Diamond stays alive. All 5 members are up, ready for the next fight as the Baron is available and Gambit still have control.
The next fight will be Baron. The game will not end yet, but you can see that. Look at the coaching staff watching with, I'm sure, very tight jaws, watching this game hopefully end in their team's favor. But Rainbow7 have shown such stoicism, such mettle to push the game even to this point.
3 seconds until the second Elder spawns. And if Gambit secure that second Elder, that has to be game. It does so much damage. It is so strong. Oddie, will he get there in time to try and go for the steal?
I think the answer is probably no. Looks like it's theirs. In fact, they may be setting up a trap, trying to get a little bit of vision. It's somewhat shallow right now. Girol TP up when he spawns, which is now, and this might be taking too long for Gambit.
Oh god, here we go. Look at Kira, the positioning. His flash is back up, exhaust is down.
Has to go the long way around though. Elder Dragon reset. Girol is defending the 1 super lane left.
Also remember that both inhibs have respawned for Rainbow7, so there's only 1 lane that Girol has to deal with, which he is capable of. That 15,000 health Elder is going down super slowly, and Rainbow7, they're fine just stalling things out.
Gambit though, they're taking it safely. They've got Kira to zone them out of the way. Here's the TP. Wall not quite long enough. Oh no, don't leave it out. Don't 50-50. Elder Dragon now turning to Rainbow7, dealing them some damage. It's still no, will releash again. Gambit just don't want to take any risks.
They really don't. The Elder Dragon has reset. White Lotus now chunking it down. Will Gambit try go for the engage.
Only half leash though. They're going to go for the 50-50. And it goes to Kira. Somehow gets the Elder Dragon. And that should be game. Gambit goes straight in for the fight. White Lotus tries to find the angle, but they take down Saya. Kira is going to zone out White Lotus. A 4v5 for 55 seconds, and no! Gambit, they get the rest of the picks, and the celebration started early, and it is well earned.
Kira, the MVP, secures the Elder Drake, secures the team fight win, and Gambit will finish first place in Group A.
They will do it. They will take a gamble. They had to close out the game. Rainbow7 have tried so hard, and there's White Lotus, maybe saying the game's not done yet, boys. Still losing the fight to the minion wave for a little while longer. Gambit has said we've got plenty more minions to play with. They'll take down Nexus Turret #1. Stayhouse will run interference onto White Lotus, and Gambit, they will finish first place in their group.
Elation and redemption for Gambit Esports. After what was a very rough 2017 year, going 0-4 in the playing stages of Worlds, to now finishing top of their group and having an opportunity to make it all the way to the group stages of MSI.
They played 6 games here to finish first. They will play up to 5 more to see if they can make it through to the group stage, but they have had quite the performance, a dramatic ending. Quite, but finally they ascend to that first place, rewrite history in some ways on their previous international performances, and you can see it on their faces, Vedius. That is a very, very hard-earned celebration.
Yeah. They just played it so, after what was such a dominating early game to then stall out into a 50-minute game. Wow, that was a nail-biter. Rainbow7, they fought hard. They found some very solid picks. White Lotus, he contributed so much, but they were just too far behind. They couldn't find the engages that they wanted, and they just couldn't find the comeback.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand why the game kind of went the way it did. When pushed to the brink, teams will always fight their hardest. But like you said, it was not enough this time for Rainbow7, and Gambit do grind their way to a win. I love that the end of that game was a 50-50 taken by Kira, whose Anivia looks stunning, and again, worthy of the bans it received early in the tournament.
That was one wonderful game to watch. Definitely a great way to round out Group A. We still have another game.
We do! Don't you dare say we're done!
But it will secure the top spot, Rainbow7. After, I mean, to be fair, you gotta remember that for White Lotus as well, he did come back off the back of 4 months of not playing competitively and then performing on an international stage. Their day 1 performances made things a lot difficult for them to be able to turn it around, but still finishing second in the group while admirable does not result in anything.
Well, before we toss to an interview, we're going to have a look at the ASAP Predator replay. It is, of course, our final fight of this game, this Elder Dragon 50-50 nail-biter.
So let's have a look at Kira and what he does. His use of the walls in the river was spectacular. He tries to zone out the entire enemy team. This is when Rainbow7 feel like they can commit, and then the burst from the Q and E Kira combined with, there wasn't even a smite, he didn't need it, Kira did all of the work, and once they found the Elder Dragon, that's when the fight started to snowball in their favor. The flash in with the secure to help round things out.
Credit to Vedius, hashtag Superior Analyst or whatever you guys use over here in EU. You were right, they took the second Elder and the game did in fact end.
Nailed it.
Had it unlock all along. Well, it's been such a journey for Gambit, but again, not long left to prepare. I think 2 days to prepare for their next opponent.
We don't know yet.
No, they don't know either.
Yeah, the draw will happen at the end of tomorrow, I do believe.
Well,
so they will have to wait for a while until they find out who their final opponents will be.
Still work to do, but celebration certainly in order. To hear how Gambit secured their spot in the play-in knockouts, let's send it over for an interview with their victorious support.
Thank you very much, Patty Cake. I am joined by the victorious Edward. I just got to ask, how does it feel? A crazy game. It felt like you guys were winning for a long time. It was a little back and forth. Now you have locked that spot. You are moving on. How does it feel?
It feels pretty good, actually, to go into the next stage of the tournament. It was actually really back and forth game, but we felt we were in control the whole time, but it was really hard to finish the game because they didn't do a lot of mistakes and actually played really good on our siege. So we're happy, really happy.
Was there any point in that game where you were nervous that it might turn against you? Because there were a few moments where Rainbow7 were mounting some comebacks.
I don't think we were nervous that we were going to lose the game. We did actually one crucial mistake when a bit overstepped on the siege, but we knew we had like 4 dragons. If we always had control in the jungle, so if we get Elder, we get after Baron, and we keep pushing, and we knew after second Elder we finish the game, most likely.
Yeah, second Elder definitely very strong. Close there for a second. Thought it might go down for a jungle steal. Now, we take a look back. Worlds 2017. We've heard it from your players. We've heard it from the broadcast as well. Really rough for the Gambit squad. This year, things looking so much better for you guys. Really, what has changed between then and now to allow you to dominate your group so confidently?
I don't think we actually dominated the group so confidently. We had really sloppy games, but also really good ones. What changed? We did some change in rosters. We changed our mentality in team. We changed our a bit play style. We have a lot of more champions, a bit more open-minded. I think that's the main things we did. Yeah.
Yeah, looking at it, Lodek coming in, I think a lot of people weren't expecting nearly as much from him, rookie on this kind of stage, but it seems like he played fantastically. What does he bring to the team as a player?
I think the biggest plus on him is that he's a player. He doesn't care about who he plays against. He's like Genja. So he doesn't care who he's playing against. So that's the best thing. That's why he's such a good rookie.
Yeah, and it looks like it very much worked out well for him on stage across this group. Now, looking ahead, of course, you're going to be going up against EVOS Esports or alternatively the Flash Wolves. How do you feel about those guys as potential competition?
To be honest, I have no idea because we've focused on group only, our group. I hope we're not going to meet Flash Wolves because obviously they're the biggest region compared to Team EVOS. So we will see how it's going to go.
All right, well, we'll find out when you do the draw at the end of the day tomorrow. For now, congrats again on topping your group, and thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dracos and Edward, and welcome back to the State Farm Analyst Desk. Gambit Esports after 3-0 on the first day and a couple of hurdles on day 2. They close it out. They are #1 in the group, and we will see them play a best-of-5 to get to that MSI group stage against either EVOS or the Flash Wolves from the LMS. Wonderful.
Told you so, Raz. I told you so, buddy. You doubted them the whole day.
Wait a second.
Here we are.
Wait a minute. There were a few intervals where I had some faith. The problem came at the end when Rainbow7 showed us some good play.
And also, I couldn't care less about what your predictions were. I want to put the spotlight on Gambit, and I want to talk about how exactly they did it. And even though we saw a lot, I do want to turn the attention back to the very early game, because you guys said that Diamond's play very early and getting that first blood is what absolutely propelled Gambit in this game.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, I was about to say, he's done this multiple times this tournament so far. Being able to catch out waves coming in, crashing in. Giral had a position where he had a crashing wave, a cannon minion wave at that, where he recognized that he was going to push in far too much. So he hit in that bush and he was ready for the gank.
Yeah, absolutely. But this is something that Gambit and, Diamond for a very long time actually revolutionized, like being able to position certain things on the map to be able to understand where he needs to be. And that's one of those plays that as soon as that wave wasn't going to crash against the turret, there's no way Giral is going to recall before it is there, because otherwise he's going to be denied so much gold, so much experience. So he has to approach that wave. And the fact that Diamond was there that early just shows how good his map understanding is.
And a couple of things there. Also, we have to remember, level 1, we had Syndra 2 summoners blown because the support and the mid together. They went in on Seiya and made him blow those summoners. And on top of that, we had Stejos and Diamond invade and get that red buff, which allowed them also to get the control and go up top. So again, I say this because the preparation was on point, and that's what we praised Gambit for on day 1. And I think this is also what gave them a great start today, and it bodes well for a best-of-5.
Yeah, absolutely. And we said as the tournament progresses, we expect the level 1s to get a little bit more risky, and I think we saw that in this game, going for a little bit of a cheesy pick. And Syndra into Anivia is already a hard enough matchup. You can't burst her out. It's very hard to win the 2v2 because of the Agnivia weird interaction there with the ultimate. So I think that did put Seiya behind. He caught up as the game progressed. If that's what's going to happen if the game goes for 50-odd minutes, but still from minute 1, he was just set down.
Yeah, I thought that the strategy involved, along with the Zac, made it so the counterplay would be playing around that, maybe looking towards the bottom lane to get some pick potential, or even if you go mid, then you can bring in support and you have enough damage. So that's what they wanted to do, but obviously falling behind versus the Anivia that early, you can't go for that anymore, so they had to stall out.
Perfect. Absolutely. I mean, in a perfect point, we're going to take a look at some more Diamond highlights, because that was really the issue. Once Gambit got going, they kept going. Audi never recovered. He was the slowest in getting to level 6 of entire MSI performance, and he probably felt quite useless.
Yeah, absolutely. And we saw Giral there fall down. He also had to play off his turret twice just because of the implied pressure that Diamond had all over the map. And then when you get this far ahead as Olaf, you don't really fall off anymore, as when you got 6 items, you still go with everyone else.
Yeah, he just keeps going for it. And here's my worry when it comes to Rainbow7 at this stage of the game. If the Swain is not going to stay in the lane because he's getting consistently pressured out, and even along with Zach, you can't 2v2 that. You have to swap early. Their bottom lane was doing incredibly well, and suddenly you just have to swap out the duo lane, push out, head top, save your Swain, because they were putting them in a really poor position.
Yeah, absolutely. But at the same time, Gambit had that read, and they had the ability to pick up double banner of command very early into it. They knew they were going up against 2 mages. They really did just set up every little piece of the puzzle to be able to reap the rewards of that. And I think that even when the game progressed to a point where, you know, White Lotus was absolutely massive, it never really was played on Gambit side of the map. It was always them pushing into Rainbow7's map, which meant that even if they made mistakes, it wasn't enough to really allow Rainbow7 to get back into the game.
It went very long, and then when you have a Tristana and you know that a Syndra can zero people down, there is a chance, but Gambit just had complete control, and we have to call out that man in the mid lane who we looked at day one. Kira wasn't maybe making the hugest plays on day one, but here his Anivia twice in a row does amazing things for Gambit.
Yeah, you go long enough in a tournament, and it seems like he's going to finally get it for himself. So you got to see Gambit go back to their late game style, or at least a style that's comfortable for Kira. So a lot of it was he got in the early game advantage for himself, and then as you saw later on in the game, when it came down to the final plays, the massive wall that he was able to make and change the state of the fights were crucial.
We're going to go to a break in just a second. The only thing I want to know from you guys, even though we can talk about it at the end of the show as well, is what do you think of Gambit's chances in this best of 5 versus EVOS or versus the Flash Wolves, and who do you think they'd want to avoid?
I think they definitely want to draw EVOS. Like, when you have a look at Flash Wolves, they're a team that have showed up internationally, obviously a completely different lineup with Casa going over to the LPL. However, that's still a team that has got that history behind them. I think they would want to draw the Vietnamese region. And in saying that, I think they have a pretty good shot at being able to take them down if they do.
I agree. Holistically, I think that if they do go up against Flash Wolves, though, it should go down to 4 or 5 games, that they will be competitive.
Wow, I mean, that is a big praise for Gambit, and I really hope it becomes a competitive best of 5. Congratulations to them for getting that #1 spot. And now we're going to take a break, but when we return, Ascension Gaming and Chaos Latin Gamers have a chance to end their MSI run in style with a winning Game 6. Meet us back here after the break.